Miami! To mission control, we have liftoff. Phinhub! Phinhub! We talking Dolphins city! Phinhub, Phinhub! Yeah! It's that Dolphins show! Phinhub!
Welcome to the Phinhub Show, the one NFL podcast you can't leave off your roster. Now here's your hosts, Joe and Kevin DeHale.
All right. Welcome to another episode of the Finhub Show, powered by BetUS. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure to check out BetUS and use code YouTube150 for a 150% bonus on your first deposit for up to $2,000. So use code YouTube150 for that 150% bonus. The Miami Dolphins are going to be facing the New England Patriots tomorrow at 1 p.m. We're not looking for a high-scoring game, so make sure to check out BetUS and place your bets. I would bet the under on this one. So yeah, guys, use code YouTube150. All right, so like I just said, the Miami Dolphins will be facing the New England Patriots at New England on 1 p.m. tomorrow. The Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots are not the best offensive teams in the NFL right now. As a matter of fact, they are both last, with the Dolphins respectively being the worst team at scoring at this point in the season with 11.3 points per game. The New England Patriots are just at 13 points a game, ranked right above the Miami Dolphins. So not a lot of scoring expected in this game, but hopefully the Dolphins can kick a few more field goals than the Patriots, and we can edge it out until our boy Tua gets back. Kevin, what are your initial thoughts going into this game against New England?
I'm not thinking much. I feel like every week since that Bills loss, I've been trying to stay optimistic and say, hey, if we do this, if we do that. I'm just at a point of like sit back, watch, see what McDaniel can do. I've lost a little bit of faith in him, but not to say that he can't restore that faith. It's week to week for me right now, but if he can come in and figure something out with this offense, maybe look back at his days with RG3 when he was calling those plays, maybe kind of replicate that with Huntley. We got a mobile quarterback in him. Then, maybe, restore some faith. But right now, just wait and see approach and, just inching closer to getting back to Tua. I'm excited about that. I can't wait to see him back in this offense. My initial thoughts, though, I will say are, some key guys coming back from injury. We got Teron Armstead, looks like he's going to play. Kendall Fuller, Raheem Mostert. Big news, Odell Beckham coming off the injured reserve list.
Got to get going. We got to start making plays. We got to put, offense. Defense has been playing great. Offense is our turn. Got to take over. There's a reason I came to this offense. It's because I seen what they did all last year. 2 games away from being the 1 seed. I was over there in Baltimore when we lost to Tennessee last year. I remember what it was like. So it's a bunch of great things. There's no time to panic, but it's definitely a time to have a sense of urgency.
Officially, so he's back on this roster. He's set to play. He's probably going to be on a snap count. Probably not play, big minutes in this game, but there might be some key plays that he can get in there, and he already has that familiarity with Tyler Huntley. I think he caught his first. He was alluding to that. He caught his first touchdown on the Ravens with Tyler Huntley, actually. So, something there. Maybe there's some chemistry that left over that they can figure out on the field. Another couple things that are going on. Jalen Phillips is out for the season. That's pretty big.
It's
a big hit there. Yeah. Opportunity for Chop Robinson to maybe step up. Mo Kamara to finally get in there and make his debut. But yeah, man, it's just wait and see approach. I don't know. What are you thinking about this game?
Well, I think in this game, the Miami Dolphins really have to use Jalen Wright more, get him more involved in the offense. We saw Devon Achane's worst performance last week, and, that's going to happen from time to time. Devon has been great since he's been in the league. He just has his problems with his injury concerns, but aside from that, he's been an amazing talent for the Dolphins and has carried the Dolphins offense this season.
Yeah.
The only bright spot really until last week. And Jalen Wright looked pretty good, all things considering. He was probably the only thing that looked good last week. And he rushed for 32 yards, nothing crazy. He had 9 carries, averaged 3.6 on the ground, but did break away for a 20-yard run. And that was exciting. I've always been impressed with Jalen Wright, even in preseason. And I think that if the Dolphins could work him into the offense a little bit more, it would help us going forward, especially given that, Devon Achane, I'm not expecting him to have another repeat performance of, against like what he did against the Titans. I expect him to perform better, but he is a smaller back. And if we can get Jalen Wright going, I think that would help out with Devon Achane going forward too.
I think moving forward, we're seeing that Devon Achane might just be more so a complimentary back, but a really good one, you know what I'm saying? But we do need that bruiser. We need a 3-down back. I think Jalen Wright's more in that mold. But, I mean, who knows? With Raheem Mostert back, I do think he's going to play. It's not official, but it's looking like he's going to.
Right.
I mean, maybe that's what we've been missing in this run game. I think he was maybe a little undervalued last year, despite getting 19 rushing touchdowns. But someone, if we can manage to get into the red zone in this game, he will be effective. He showed it last year. But yeah, I mean, not much else to say about that, but let's see.
Well, yeah, another thing that I would point out is, the Miami Dolphins struggling on offense. And, you would never imagine someone like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle struggling the way that they are the last 3 weeks. Looking at Tyreek Hill's numbers, week 1, he had 130 receiving yards and a touchdown with 7 receptions. Since then, he's had a total of 10 receptions, 87 yards, and 0 touchdowns. So that's 3 straight games with less than 50 yards. That's the first time in his career that he's had this low point. And he's got to be miserable right now, not having Tua out there. And it's funny, a lot of fans and media alike, they speculated that Tua's success really just came from the product of Mike McDaniel's system, Tyreek Hill being in the offense, Jalen Waddle. And we're seeing quite the opposite. Yeah. Tua elevated the games of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and made Mike McDaniel look like the genius that he people have claimed he is. And I'm not saying he isn't. I think he can design some really cool plays. His play calling has been suspect of late, and hopefully he can turn it around against the Patriots. But even looking at Jalen Waddle's comparison, he went a perfect 5 for 5 in targets and receptions. Week 1, had 109 yards receiving, averaged 21.8 yards per catch, and had a long reception of 63 yards. Since then, he's gone 12 of 15, so he's picking up on those receptions. That's not really the problem. His receiving yards are down, definitely. His average yards per reception, and obviously his longest reception was for 21 yards, and I believe it was in the last game. Mm-hmm. The issue for or something that I'm seeing that's important that Tua Tagovailoa does with the ball is that he puts the ball into space for the playmakers to continue with the ball and continue making a move once they receive the ball. Yeah. That doesn't seem like to be the case. They're catching it almost at a point where they're being tackled immediately. And what Tua did so effectively was he was putting the ball in areas so that the receivers can continue their motion and really get that yards after the catch. And we're not seeing that lately.
Spots and the right spots. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like perfect velocity, perfect timing, and that's not something we can get out of any of these other quarterbacks right now. I will talking about Tyreek Hill that you were saying. I would be a little bit more alarmed if I didn't see him beating cornerbacks or like getting open in a sense. But there were a few things that I think Tyler Huntley wish he got back and would put in a different spot. Maybe another week of practice with Tyreek Hill, knowing what Tyreek Hill expects. Like they're going over this game tape last game and they're like, yo, look, instead of leading it out of bounds, you should have hit me out here. This was an automatic touchdown.
Yeah.
Other plays with Jalen Waddle open up the middle. Like there's things that now he's gonna realize, okay, look, on this play I can see this. So the only thing that's alarming with me is and it's happened time and time again throughout Tyreek Hill's years in Miami. It's like these little stupid drops. Like last game against the Titans. I mean that fumble it might have messed up the whole momentum of the game. Yeah, I know it sounds a little dumb, but we were moving the ball down the field. Like, it looked good. And then from there, it was just like we couldn't get anything going. So.
Yeah, the momentum swung heavily after that point. And, either way, I know drops are going to happen, but he has done it in key moments.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's something he can get cleaned up. And I do think that Tyler Huntley being in the offense for another week
makes a difference.
It makes a difference. Mike McDaniel alluded to, a lot of things being the first for Huntley, so it was a weird week for him.
Mm-hmm.
And this week is obviously now the second week for him, and hopefully he's going to grasp the offense a little bit better, come to know the receivers a little bit better. I think even, like you were saying before, OBJ being in the lineup should help him out a little bit with the chemistry. And I hope they can figure things out on offense, because that was our strong point coming into the season, and we are actually the worst in the NFL at this point.
One thing we got to remember, maybe it's not so much the play calling that's the problem. I think it's just the execution. And I think it's been said, and I think McDaniel's also said it too. It's not that he's making excuses for himself. He's just kind of saying that everyone has to execute with more intention behind what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like maybe guys are kind of going through the motion. They're defeated in the middle of the game before the game's even over. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. We got to figure that out, but we definitely don't play like a team that's hungry to win. No. So hopefully it can be turned around this week.
Well, let's take a quick look at Jacoby Brissett, ex-Miami Dolphin. Last week against the 49ers, he threw for almost 60%, had 168 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Just about what you could expect from Jacoby Brissett. The Dolphins aren't going to be tasked with a high-powered offense, luckily, this week, or even the last few weeks. So hopefully we can actually take advantage of turnovers, turn them into points, more than 3 points. And I really just don't want to see a field goal competition here. That's what it looked like early on against the Titans. I want to see something happen. I want to be competitive in this game.
I want to see the defense take over, honestly. I mean, this is a weak offensive line that we're going up against, including they lost their starting center, Mark Andrews, which is pretty important. He's out for the season now. Mm-hmm. We got to see the defense dominate. Even with Jalen Phillips out, Bradley Chubb out, we got to see something going on. I think Anthony Weaver has answered the call. I think he's been pretty good these last 3 weeks, actually. I mean, honestly, all 4. I think he's done a great job. So if he can actually make this his staple game, that he's like, all right, this is my defense's identity. This is how we're gonna win or dominate against these offenses. I think if we can start seeing that trend, then there definitely is a way to come back in this season, and maybe at the right time when Tua comes back, our defense is dominating and our offense picks up.
A lot of things have to happen for the Dolphins to really get to that next level. One of them is just keeping the season afloat with Tyler Huntley while Tua recovers from his concussion. Mm-hmm. And if the Dolphins could just win the next 2 games, we're looking at a completely different outlook for the season once Tua comes back. And despite what anybody says, Tua will be back. The NFL is already saying that they will not get in the way of Tua making his comeback.
Yeah, that's huge news.
The studies are implying that, or the studies don't show any significant risk to Tua's long term. There's really no real answers here in the science community for concussions.
It's just a judgment call at the end of the day. If Tua decides not to go back, I mean, and he's not going to do that. There's too much money on the line, too much pride.
Yeah, and he's letting down the rest of his teammates. You can see that Tua's
and the fan base.
Tua's a family guy, and I think he loves a lot of the people on this team, and he has a lot of respect for them. And at this point, you could say whatever you want, but Tua is the best chance at winning, at least this season. Tua will be back, and if the Dolphins can't stay afloat, then we're looking at a completely different look for the Dolphins.
Yeah, the level of optimism changes entirely if Tua's back. I think I go from being, right now I feel like we have 0 chance every week, but that definitely changes. I feel like now it turns into like a 50-50 thing. I mean, I want to see him out there first, see what he does, but from there it's a completely different team in my eyes.
Yeah. Well, the Dolphins will have the opportunity to right the ship this week against the New England Patriots at 1. If you guys haven't already, make sure to check out BetUS and use code YouTube150 for a 150% bonus on your first deposit for up to $2,000. Guys, bet the under on this game because these are not good offenses. I expect the Miami Dolphins to kick a lot of field goals. I also expect the Patriots to kick a lot of field goals, or hopefully not. Either way, make sure to check out BetUS and use code YouTube150 for a 150% bonus on your first deposit for up to $2,000. But that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you for sticking it out with us, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks up.